Y'all know I'll be sitting over here jamming when that intro plays. Yes, Lord, yes. Skye Squad, we are back in the building. It's your boy DJ Richie Skye, and today we got some topics to discuss with y'all, okay? Well, we got some tea on what's going on down to the Real Housewives of the Potomac. It looks like there might be some trouble in the paradise for a couple of ladies that we probably weren't expecting, or were we? Okay. Then we got to dissect this whole situation with Kenya Moe, okay, and Drew Sidora. This is a follow-up conversation from the reunion, okay? So we're going to pick up on that. We're also going to talk about Kandi. Kandi done part 2 to the speak on it. She done gave us more information about the situation between her and Porsha and Nene and the Black Lives Matter movement and the texts and all that other kind of stuff. She also talked about her background with Block and whether or not she was actually the side chick or not. She addresses that rumor as well. So we're going to get into all that. But before we do all that, make sure you guys let me know where you're watching from. Join the chatterization by telling me the location, okay? Give me your city right now. I see we got Bridgeport, Connecticut. We got Cali, Broward County, Florida, Canada up in the building. Riviera Beach, DC in the Hisnai, H-Town. Hello from Germany, okay? Come on, Germany up in the place to be. Rochester, New York. We got Jersey City, London. Come on, Vegas, Jamaica, Toronto, okay, Philly, Las Vegas. There we go. We got Texas in the building, West Virginia, England, Bmore, North Carolina, New York City, New Jersey, Texas, Kansas City. We got the Netherlands up in the place, Ghana, Africa. All our people are up in the building today. I appreciate you. Thank you guys so much for letting us know where you guys are watching from, because I like to know where the people are. You know what I'm saying? I got some weird lighting going on in the room. I got the blinds open over here so that the lighting is not so harsh on my eyes today. So just bear with me if it looks a little odd on the screen. Hopefully it's not too bad for y'all. Let's go ahead and get on down into the biznai, okay? First things first, there's a little bit of trouble down to the Potomac. Y'all know we got that little promo that had been making the rounds online, about Potomac coming this summer. We thinking that it's about August that it's coming. We got this little preview talking about, don't sleep on Potomac. And sleep we won't. Okay, sleep we won't. Because we also got this little teaser right here. Probably one of the best 10 seconds of promo that I done seen on Bravo in a long time. Okay, we got this where, Karen Huger is claiming that Gizelle got a hot box. Okay, a hot pocket, hot toast, hot cakes. And then Wendy is asking, you talking about her punani? Okay, so she asking that question. And then she asked if the ladies want some cupcakes, okay, that look like they're in the shape of some breast assists, okay? So we got that going on. But in the midst of all that, y'all, look what else we done got here, okay? So our friends at Real Housewives of Atlanta times Real Housewives of Potomac been giving us this good information right here. In the midst of filming season 6 of the Real Housewives of the Potomac, okay, it looks like your girl Gizelle Bryant has unfollowed Dr. Wendy Osefo. And so I had to do the due diligence of doing the research for myself. And I found the same thing as well, okay? And I checked to see if Wendy was following that good Gizelle. And yes, she still is following her. But it looked like, okay, Gizelle done unfollowed that good Wendy Osefo. Now, I had to wonder, well, what did happen? Was it because she has seen that promo and Wendy was asking, if Karen was talking about that good Gizelle's hoo-ha or whatever? I don't really know. Thank you so much for this super chat. We appreciate you just because you are fabulous. No, you are fabulous. And thank you so much for that super chat. We send you all the love, okay? Now, right, Keisha said this. The people say Karen and Wendy are cool now. Now, that don't surprise me not one bit. It don't surprise me at all, because ultimately what I think sometimes is that people tend to watch this show, and in the beginning, we all was thinking it. We was all, at least I was on the Gizelle train. I was driving the train, okay? I was all up on it. Had to put a quote from her from an interview we did with her up on my good intro and everything. That's how hard I was riding for her. But the more I watched, I was like, Gizelle seemed to be the main one causing all the drama, and it was getting to a point where it was not in a fun way. I appreciated how she did it on Married to Medicine, because it seemed kind of light and fun or whatever. But I don't know. Anyway, I'm just wondering if that good Wendy Osefo didn't seen the light of day and found that Gizelle is causing some problems, or maybe Dr. Wendy causing some problems for Gizelle, since Gizelle was the one that unfollowed her. So we'll just have to see what's going on. What I will say is this: Wendy seems to me like the type that's going to call some people out and call them to the carpet about some things. And it would be about time it was somebody else doing it outside of that good Karen Huger. So we just gonna have to wait and see. Shout out to Evie Skincare. Y'all make sure y'all click the link in the description down below. You guys can also get your Evie Skincare by clicking the link down below as well. Thank you for the super chat, boo. We appreciate you. Listen, I just feel like Dr. Wendy came back season 2. She looking good. She understand the assignment, and she doing what need to be done. Okay, that's what I think is going on. But y'all chime down in the comment section below and tell me what you think is the problem. Is it because she's cool with Karen now, or is it something else? We'll just have to wait and see. But best believe we're going to be tuned in. Make sure you guys are following Real Housewives of Atlanta and Times Real Housewives of Potomac on Instagram. You also can find this information on the Peach Report Daily. These were 2 of the sites that I happened to see this information on as well. But of course, like I said, I had to go do my due diligence myself to see on my phone to check and see who was following who. And I got that good information right here. It is verified. This information is true. All right. So let's move right on along, my people. Let's move right on along, my good people. Now we got to talk about Kenya Moore and Drew Sidora. Let's go ahead and get into that real quick. So y'all know, before we even look at this, okay, before we take a look-see at that, we're just going to take it back to the reunion real quick. First of all. So first things first, we're going to go back to when Miss Kenya Moore had been called out, that good Drew Sidora, for also wearing the Indian headdress and wearing Indian paraphernalia and garb for what looked to be a Halloween type situation or some type of dress up situation. And so, that good Drew Sidora has said, no, they was giving praise and honor to the ancestors while they was in New Orleans, okay? And so then Kandi Burruss in her speak on it has said, well, that looked like a lie, okay? It looked like a lie. It sounded like a lie, and it sounded like a story, and I don't believe it. I ain't buying it. It don't sound true. It don't ring true, not at all, okay? So let's get into everything. There was also the situation where Kenya Moore had tweeted the information, retweet or liked the tweet or retweeted or something, the tweet about, the scene with baby Josiah, young Josiah, and the daddy, and how it seemed cringy. And we ourselves had talked about how it made us feel a little uncomfortable here too, just a wee bit uncomfortable. Shamar, thank you for the super chat, who says, after the issues with Monique, I can't rock with the two-faced faux Vanessa Williams, and I'm glad you took her off your intro. Not the two-faced faux Vanessa Williams, talking about that good Gizelle Bryant. Yeah, it's no shade, and I'm trying to go into the new season with a fresh perspective, but I just, had to go ahead and just, start fresh with a new intro. That's what I did, but thank you so much for that super chat. Anyway, Kenya Moore had talked about, she retweeted that or whatever. Kandi said she didn't like it. So then, Kenya Moore apologized if she offended her. But now Kenya Moore is doubling back down on that. And let's look at how she's doing so right here. Okay. So now we're going over to the good Kenya Moore Twitter. Okay. So someone said, I think although I think Drew has some issues, I think it would be unwise to go at her about her family not all living under one roof, especially since Kenya Moore's husband doesn't live with her either. Now, I had said the same thing or something similar to that when I was doing my review of the reunion episode. So Kenya then says, that was my point. She said her family was under one roof, trying to take a dig at me and my family. I don't really quite get where she going with that one. But okay. So here's what we get into the tweet about Josiah, okay? Now, apparently, I'm trying to get the date of this tweet that came out right here. But anyway, it says, this conversation with Drew's son is so cringy, let that baby go play Minecraft or something, okay? That was the tweet in question, I believe, right? Okay, so then Kenya Moe says, she liked the tweet. She says, here's the tweet I liked. I actually felt bad for her son, seeing how uncomfortable he was, and viewers felt the same way. It's my opinion as a mother, and she asked. I never said anything about her son. Don't drag me into it to have a fake beef with me. Okay, so let's really dissect that, okay? Now, when you get to liking tweets or retweeting something that merely mentions someone's child, it raises people's antenna, whether or not you were actually speaking about the child or not. I feel like, Kenya should also be able to understand why that could be offensive to someone else, even though she was not necessarily speaking directly about the child. She was more or less seemingly talking about the scene in general. I don't know. Let me ask y'all a question. Do y'all think that this is Kenya Moore talking about, Josiah? Let me know in the comment section down below. I feel like I can see two sides to this equation where Drew would be offended, because even if she wasn't referring to, her as her child, she was referring to her as a mother to a certain degree, because Kenya did say she felt like she wasn't protecting her child. You know what I'm saying? So I see a lot of people, on different ends of the spectrum on this. So this is interesting to me, because I feel like it would have been in better taste for Kenya not to like or retweet this. It's one thing to think it, but it is another thing when you are a celebrity on social media, or you are someone who is well known or got a blue check or something. You know what I'm saying? When people know you like that and you start liking tweets like this, it is going to raise some eyebrows. You know what I'm saying? Whether or not you were being, offensive or talking about the child or not, I would just say from a PR perspective, I wouldn't do it. You know what I mean? That's just me. Okay. That's just me. Now, again, it's one thing if she thinks it, but it's another thing to begin to publicly acknowledge support of something that says that, right? Again, we were all thinking it made us a little uncomfortable, or at least a lot of us were, but that could be on us. So, I don't know. I just wouldn't have done it if I was her. But let's move on to the exposing part though. Okay. So, and then the idea that she has a fake beef with Kenya, I don't necessarily know that it's fake. What I do think, though, is that Drew is seemingly using some of this as ammunition to have more built up anger towards Kenya. Although I do feel like Kenya was not so nice to Drew, at least behind her back, when Drew came onto the scene, because there was the judgment, there was calling her a stray, there was those sorts of things. So I just feel like those were going to be, not as well received as Kenya would have thought that they should be. Okay. We got a super chat from Natalie P, who says, Fem Taro's channel did a reading on Kenya. She will have another baby with Mark, a boy, and will leave TV to focus on her family. This is according to Fem Taro, according to Natalie P. Thank you for that super chat, Natalie P. All right, so let's get into the next tweet. Now, here is where the receipts come in, okay? This is where the receipts come in, okay? So here we have, Kenya has tweeted the photo of Drew Sidora in said, I guess, garb that it is problematic, at least according to Kenya, okay? And she says this. She says, does this look like a family celebration? Drew is weird and obviously a pathological liar. She dressed as an Indian for Halloween. I unfortunately dressed as a Native American, for which I apologized. Cultural appropriation is wrong, period. Hashtag receipts. So she spoke about this during the reunion, but then she actually posted the photo on her Twitter. Okay. Well, here we are. You know, to be fair, Drew said that Kenya wearing the costume was disgusting. I do think that this is a case of, you know, a person who is living in a glass house throwing stones in another person's direction. And this is why I said, and I see a lot of you guys stating that Drew wasn't on the show at the time. So obviously it wasn't as amplified. And when I say amplified, I mean by the fact that Kenya was on the show, it was amplified on television. So there's that. But I think at the same time, if you are going to call someone out on something, I feel like you probably should have a clean slate with that same issue. So I just kind of feel like if I were Drew in that situation with Kenya, I probably would not have even commented on it, because I just kind of feel like this is one of those situations where someone can easily come back and say, oh, well, you did it too. Okay. So she should have just stayed quiet at the reunion. I think because, you know, I guess people had the evidence out there. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, you might not want to judge, because you too could be called to the carpet on this issue here. Okay. So I want to, let's move on from there. Okay. Let's move on from there. We have another issue to discuss. Okay, hold on. We got a super chat in the building from Ashley, who says they do not like each other and are coworkers. It was bad taste. Kenya is messy and would have had the same response if the situation were different. Thank you so much for that super chat. We definitely appreciate you. I want to move on over into something else that I did not plan to talk about. But I want to talk about it now in general, because I feel like it's relevant to the conversation that we're about to have with Kandi. Okay. So I want you guys to give me 1 second. I'm going to pull this up. I think we had another super chat. Hold on for 1 second. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, Alicia says, Drew kept Kenya's name in her mouth all season long. In her confessionals, Kenya only said Drew was astray, and she said that she was underwhelmed. Though this seems to be true as well. Thank you for that super chat. So I'm going to pull this up. Thank you, Alicia. I want to pull this up for you guys. And it's just really a small example of, production and the editing this season. And I don't know, I would encourage you guys to go follow the Jasmine brand because it's on the Jasmine brand page. So essentially what has happened is a Twitter user, I think it's on Twitter, named JB, says, Real Housewives of Atlanta production editors, this is the laziest piece of editing I've seen. How did we miss this? Now, let me just describe to you what's going on in this scene. Here is where Kandi also mentioned this in her speak on it about how things were like kind of edited out of order. Remember the conversation between when they were talking about Ralph and Drew and Josiah, and suddenly it switched to a conversation that was comparing that situation to Kandi's situation with Block and Riley. Okay. Now, when you look at the scene in one part of this video, I just don't want to play it because I know that this is, content that's actually from Bravo. So I'm not going to do that. But when you look at the scene, you will see Kandi situated here. You'll see Ralph in the background, and then you'll see Drew slightly in front of him. But when they're talking about Josiah, but then when the scene switch, like it's just like a millisecond, then you will also see that Ralph is now gone as soon as Kandi starts talking. And then you can actually see Shamia's leg in the frame. So they obviously took a portion of the conversation that happened later after the rest of the ladies joined and inserted it into an earlier point in the edited version of the show. But it was just so obvious because you can clearly see in 1 second Ralph is there, and the next second he wasn't, and there is Shamia's leg randomly in the shot. It was so strange. Okay. Stephanie Norris says, I will not forget Porsha calling out Kenya and wearing a Native American costume when her sister Lauren had on one. I cannot play with the hypocrisy. That's why I said in these situations, thank you, Stephanie, for the super chat. It's probably best, Kenya had to really own that situation, and she was doing a good job owning it on her own. And Andy was holding her feet to the fire, having her explain why she felt like it was wrong. And I felt like she was doing a good job. As a courtesy in my mind, I would have just not said anything about it. Even if I felt like on the other end of the foot, Kenya might have said something about if one of the other ladies had done it and they had been called out. I just feel like in that situation, just don't say nothing, because at the end of the day, somebody can point out something that you did like that too, right? And this is another reason why we show people grace, especially in situations like that, and especially when she was trying to make amends for that situation, because they really did hold her feet to the fire on that one. And I felt like, she was owning it and she was spitting facts and using it as a teachable moment. We have another super chat from Antoine Edwards. I did find it funny. Nene was messy and deflected and y'all loved it, but can you do the same? And y'all can't stand her. Make it make sense. Thank you for the super chat. Let's see here. I think I got all the super chats. Okay. Now, let's move on from there. And we're going to get into Kandi's speak on it part 2. Okay. Kandi speak on it part 2. Now, this speak on it to me was very interesting. They covered a couple of things. One of the things that they covered was the situation between her and Block. Now, a lot of people were calling out Kandi for wanting to get child support from Block, after all of these years. Oh, we got a super chat coming in from Glenda. Let me get that real quick. Not taking sides, but we don't know where or when this picture was taken. The tribe in New Orleans is celebrated by everyone. That's a good observation as well, Glenda. Thank you so much for that super chat. So she talked about, the reason why it was important for her to go after this, because she needed to do it before Riley turned 18. And it would have been more difficult to do so afterwards. She says that it wasn't for a storyline. This is what was actually going on. And the reason why she was so pressed to do so is because this was something that Riley wanted for herself. And I think a lot of people were maybe side-eyeing the situation in real life, because I think a lot of people were thinking, well, Kandi, you already have a lot of money. Why is it that you need to get more money from this man? But, as far as Riley is concerned, she feels like that is the money that is owed to her. And so that is why Kandi made that decision, and she doesn't care what anyone thinks about it. So that was that part of it. She also cleared up. I know that there have been some talk about, when Kandi initially dated Block, there's, I guess there's a story out there, or there's, I guess it's out there in the media that she may have been like the side chick and she might have known it. She does say that when she dated him and when she was going through that process, he told her that he was not talking to anyone else and that he was not fooling around with his baby mama. But when she ended up going through his phone, because she checked his voicemail and she heard a message from the baby mama, and she said that she was going to ask, when she confronted him about it, she said she was going to call the baby mama, and he was like, no, I'm not messing with her. And so she did call the baby mama and find out that Block was allegedly, according to her, still dating or hanging around with or messing with the baby mama at the time. And from that point forward, she had nothing else to do with him in that way. So that was another thing that she talked about in her speak on it, which I found very interesting. I think she said that she could have really gone on about that situation a lot further, but she didn't choose to go into that anymore. She didn't elaborate that. And basically she was just chalking it up to, him kind of being a little bit of a player, you know what I'm saying? And just kind of being like, nah, I ain't messing with nobody else or nothing like that. At least this is her story. Okay. This is her side of the story. The other thing that she said that was very interesting was she went into a larger conversation about the issue between her, Porsha, and Nene. Okay. And this is with regards to the Black Lives Matter movement and the initiatives that those ladies were trying to, get the network and production to sort of do in support of the Black Lives Matter movement. Now, I guess a lot of this happened in last June. And according to Kandi, she says that there were two separate conversations going on. One was a larger group message amongst the ladies, and one was a side group message that I guess was maybe going on between, Porsha, Nene, Marlo, and Tanya. Okay. And, I guess from her perspective, she said that Nene sent those messages out. Okay. Sent those private messages out, and they were read publicly, I guess. And she says that in those messages, she felt like they were, dogging her out in some way, shape, or form. So when she did confront, Porsha about it on the show, she said it wasn't that she was confronting Porsha about necessarily what they were doing or what she was doing for the Black Lives Matter movement. It was more about, you guys were talking about me via text message, and the messages are now out there. Now, she says that in the messages that it was Porsha, and Tanya and doing most of the talking about her, and that it was kind of more or less in those messages that Nene was just kind of responding, here and there or whatever. She also says that, the messages that Porsha showed us in her live, in her speak on it, weren't necessarily all of the messages that were relayed back in those messages, in the broader messages, right? So she's saying that Porsha only showed us a snippet of the conversations after the fact, after they had their confrontation. She said that when her and Porsha did have the discussion, I guess in the scene that was deleted, she said at that point in time, she said this. She said that, they wasn't arguing about that. They was just arguing about why, she was dogging her out like that in those text messages. And then when Kenya approached the situation, it became a conversation about, who's doing what for the Black Lives Matter movement, and Kenya's belief, from what I'm paraphrasing, that Porsha wanted to be the only person who was on the show seen doing something for the movement. Okay. So I know it's a complicated situation, but that's pretty much what she was saying in that situation. Let me get Robin, who had a super chat, says, I believe 2 different events. Looks like more like a Middle Eastern Indian theme in this pic. Since when do Native Americans put a dot on their forehead? Good question, Robin. That's a very good question. Thank you for that super chat. So I'm going to tell you, for me, what it kind of looked like. I didn't ever see the original messages, to be quite honest with you. So I don't necessarily know what was in them. Hold on. Thank you so much for the super chat. Will Girl says, thank you for keeping us abreast. I really appreciate you and your time. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. That was really nice. It sounds to me like there's a whole lot of issues going on here, a whole lot of miscommunication. And I kind of feel like, listen, I love me some Porsha. I love me some Nene. But just the way that Kandi told the story, I felt like Kandi was giving us a little bit more transparency in her story. And I just feel like, it's all very convoluted to me. I guess I don't know why Nene sent out those text messages. I don't know what that was for or why she did that. And the reason that Kandi said that she did not include the rest of the ladies on her email to the executives was, first, that Porsha and Nene, according to Kandi, were only talking about what they were going to be able to do with the production company. And Kandi had a contact at the network. So there's the production level and then there's the network level, right? So Porsha and Nene, according to Kandi, were going to the production level. She went straight to the network level because she had the network contact, okay? So this is 2 different levels of trying to get something done. Let's start there, right? One is here and one is here, okay? Her objectives at the network level were to get a bunch of different things done on a higher level, with hiring more Black people, with hiring Black production companies, with getting these specials produced and on prime time, for which she says that she did get an executive producer credit, which I believe is why the other ladies may have been annoyed, is because they were probably thinking to themselves, oh, here go Kandi yet again, trying to get another little spin-off for herself, trying to do something for herself. But for Kandi, she feels like, at least from the way she described it, it don't even sound like she was getting paid for that. She was just getting the credit. But to Kandi's, from what she says, she was already getting producer credits on other things that she had done. What she was really fighting for was to get a Black-owned production company to be able to start work with the network on various projects, because according to her, there weren't any other Black-owned production companies in-house at Bravo, right? Or working with the network in that way. And after she had her conversation with them, that's when they did bring on that Black-owned production company to produce those 2 specials. And furthermore, let me get into this. Alicia says, but during the reunion, Drew said that she was at a family reunion honoring the ancestors and Native American garb, so Drew told on herself. Thank you for that super chat. The other part of that is this. Porsha said in her speak on it, which I didn't realize Kandi had trademarked speak on it, okay? This is a whole different conversation about ownership that I could go into, but that was this kind of a boss move in this sense right here, right? You got to own your stuff. So they even talked about that. They was like, she did her own, Porsha did a speak on it, but, they own a trademark to speak on it. So there's that. The other thing was Porsha said, I think in her live, something to the effect that, you know, she was wanting to support Kandi and she was actually even in the special. Well, what Kandi says is that she wanted to support Porsha too. The network wasn't going to include her in those specials. Kandi went back to the network and says, we can't do these specials and not include Porsha. And maybe Porsha didn't know that. I don't know. Toya has a different perspective. Toya says Kandi is very good at manipulating the audience. Let's be real. Kandi could have told them she was going to whichever management Kandi is for herself. Listen, I think that a lot of people think that. I think that a lot of people think that. I can probably assume that most of the other ladies might have thought that as well. Let's see here. We got another super chat from Let Love Reign. It was a miscommunication, Team Kandi and Porsha. I'm gonna leave this up on the screen because this is what I believe to be true as well. And this is why I would like for them to, I'm going to give a recommendation for the two of them moving forward. But what I will say is this, you know, I believe that there is probably a perception of Kandi amongst some of the cast members. And I think that sometimes maybe that colors their reactions to the things that she does. She said that she did not include them in on the email with the rest of the cast because she didn't trust that that email wouldn't be leaked to, I guess, the media, right? Because she said that there have been so many times that they've had, you know, communications, group communications, and people have leaked things that she has said to the media. She said she didn't trust that. And she also said that, you know, Porsha didn't email the rest of the group when she emailed production or when she contacted production and told production that she didn't want that scene of her, Kandi, and Kenya arguing, you know, to be put on the show. So, you know, she used that as an example that not everybody talks to each other or copies each other on the same email when they, you know, are reaching out to the network. Now, this is my thing too. Like, and this is how I feel. And I said it before. If I have a problem with management at work, I don't need to email everybody on my team if I want to address some problems that I feel like are going on that might make, you know, the group better. I don't need to do that. I can just go straight to management. That's just, I mean, I feel like that's just, why am I email everybody else? I don't need to ask y'all permission to make some suggestions for change. But again, I also get why there is the perception that, you know, Kandi is just about making her own boss moves, right? So I love this super chat from Let Love Reign, who says it was a miscommunication, Team Kandi and Porsha. I think that Kandi and Porsha, you know, really need to start just picking up the phone, okay, and having direct conversations with each other. Okay, because what seems to be happening is a lot of mixed messages, a lot of not talking to each other, a lot of misperceptions, and versus simply having a conversation with each other. Hey, girl, what can we all do together? Like this whole, because y'all know a text conversation, it ain't the business. It is not the business. You can never have a serious conversation via text message. And to be quite frank with you, I wouldn't even advise doing it anyway. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate the love. Thank you so much. And the reason I say that is this. We had another super chat from Daquila who says, if Kandi wanted to include everyone, no matter the level of contact she would have, she was out for herself. I guess you could look at it, you know, from a variety of ways. You could look at it from a variety of ways. And I think people will see it differently. But I just kind of feel like everybody had objectives here. And that's just how I feel about it. But maybe I'm naive. I could be naive because, as you guys know, I like to see the good in everybody. I really do. Because that's just how I look at life. We got another one from Toya who says that will never happen, Richie. Kandi is still holding a grudge. She will never really be for Porsha. Toya, I do believe, I do agree with you. I do think that there is still some bad blood there. Thank you for the super chat. I still do get that feeling that there's some bad blood there. But I know personally that you will never rectify a situation if all you do is ever conversate or converse via text message. It takes putting in the work, spending quality time, having tough conversations, but you got to have those conversations over the phone or face to face, not over text message. Malik says, I mean, it would be nice to be CC'd. If it is a move that concerns me or the team, I don't want you asking anything that I did not agree to. Based on her, what she was asking, it didn't involve the rest of the team. It involved hiring more Black production companies, hiring for the internship, Black students for the internship program. It involved the specials that, were in development with the network, asking for them to be put on prime time and not to be put on just the streaming services and online. And it was also getting a Black-owned production company to produce those specials. None of those necessarily had anything to do with the rest of the ladies. These seem to be just overall objectives to get more Black people and minorities in those spaces where decisions are being made and creative content is being produced. Keisha says, why hasn't Porsha or Nene ever come to Kandi speak on it? Anything that will make any of the other girls extra money they don't want any parts of. Very interesting. Very interesting. Yes, Tish, Kandi said her goals were different and weren't related to the group's goal. Raquel Turner Art says they all look silly, even making this a thing, and even sillier bringing Black Lives Matter into it. While people are, you are absolutely correct on that. Thank you so much for the super chat. I mean, at the end of the day, again, this is why I say, I think that everybody wants to do more. And I think that it boils down to, they do need to start having conversations, like real conversations behind the scenes, and it can't be no egos involved. Thank you for the super chat. Esther Alexis says, I need you to have us join the live and share our thoughts. I have so many thoughts that can't fit into 150 characters. Love you, Richie. I will definitely do more of those as well. I appreciate you. Thank you. Because what can't happen is I see a lot of you putting the crabs in a bucket syndrome, and that is what happens. It ends up being a crabs in a bucket scenario wherein you have a group of people who are working to try to make things happen. And what it ends up looking like on the outside to the rest of us is that they all are just trying to pull each other down and they're not working together. And maybe if she had included them in on it, it would have made them feel better. I don't know. But I guess for her, she also is coming from a place of distrust because she feels like, when she sends messages or has plans for the group or anything else, she said that she's been in situations before with some of those ladies where those text messages has ended up in the media. So, Oh, yes. SEM says maybe Porsha doesn't go and speak on it because of Jamie. And as you guys may recall, her and Jamie are the ones who had the altercation a couple of seasons ago. So maybe that's also it. Ooh. Good point on that one. We had another super chat in the building from Bessie Perkins, who says the person that's not even on the show anymore is kicking up drama and sending things to blogs. They need to distance themselves from Nene. Totally. Thank you for the super chat, Bessie Perkins. We appreciate you and send you love. We got another one from Benita Anderson. Thank you so much. It's unfortunate. Again, it's unfortunate. I really wish that, at least for this type of thing, I feel like when you do these types of shows, again, you have to have a baseline of how we're going to move as a group, right? And so you have to have certain rules of engagement. Like, we all have to sit in a text message group or meet up as a group and say, listen, we're going to have fun doing the show and we're going to be shady to each other, but there's got to be certain rules that we are never going to, and certain lines that we're not going to cross, so that we all can start to trust each other. And then they need to figure out those rules as they go. But what ends up happening is that, you know, people just really don't like each other. Like, these people, just some of them just really just don't like each other at all. And so the situation seems so contentious that they can't even get it all together for the sake of the movement. That's what it's feeling like. We got another one from Zena. Thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. You know, the bigger picture of all this is, let's accomplish all these objectives. Whoever got it done, to me, this is how I think. Whoever got it done, fine. Was something done? Yes. Okay, what else can we do? What other things can we partner on? And that's just that. The same way that Kandi said when the network said, oh, they had a cast picked out for those specials and Porsha's name wasn't on that list. Oh, y'all need Porsha on this, despite the fact that they had that drama. See, I like stuff like that. Like, you got to still be able to move and support of each other despite those little differences. And that's what I'm talking about. We can still operate at this level. We ain't got to always be on the same page, but we can still get stuff done. You know what I mean? Kristen says this. I think this group of ladies has outgrown each other. That's what it feels like. We got another super chat from Karen Wilson. Hey, what up, Karen Wilson? Everyone must participate. Thank you so much for the super chat, boo. We've got Isata who says, Rich, I also heard there that Love and Hip Hop Atlanta is coming back. Would be excited to see that. I'll be excited to see it too. I like Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. We had another one in the building from Helen Williams who says, I don't believe for 1 minute Kandi didn't out them on the email for the reasons she stated. She said that because the blogger have the text messages. Could be. Could be. Thank you, Helene. We appreciate the love and support and the comments. So, listen, I don't know, man. It'll be interesting to see how they move forward in light of all this. But make sure you guys listen. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the love, the time. I appreciate it. You know, we'll just have to see how it all plays out. We'll have to see it all play out. I see a bunch of people saying it's okay, DJ, just say Porsha lied. I mean, I told y'all exactly what Kandi said. What else do you want me to say? Anyway, with that being said, y'all, I will catch y'all in the. Oh, we got another super chat. Oh, somebody said it's Nene and Turks. Let me address this real quick. Okay, so I also heard Basketball Wives is not canceled. No, it's not canceled. Shawnee said it's not canceled. So there's that. It is coming back. It's Nene and Turks. That's the question of the hour. If you guys head on over to, I was going to talk about this in another video, but we could talk about it now since we're on the line. All right, give me 1 second, y'all. So yeah, if you head over to Nene Leaks' Instagram, you guys can see that she is on some beach location. She says, okay, occur, Queen Nene back like she never left. Who ready? You know they could never. So the question is, and then we talked about it yesterday, there's going to be a surprise person that appears in Turks and Caicos filming with the Real Housewives of on Vacation special. their speculation was initially that it was going to be Jill Zarin, but apparently those talks fell through. Then they were saying that it was Lisa Rinna. Those talks also allegedly fell through. And so then they were speculating that it would be Tamra Judge from Real Housewives of Orange County, because Orange County was not represented on the show. So I don't know. You know, I've seen a couple of people posting vacation type pictures. I don't know. I told y'all I would love it. I would love it if it was Nene, because I felt like, now that would be some stuff right there. That would be some interesting drama. Y'all know Nene knows how to make good TV. Talia says, my unpopular opinion, they need to change the name of the show unless the definition of housewife has changed. Thank you for that super chat. So that's what's going on with the Real Housewives All-Star. That's the word. That's the latest word that we have today. Is people think now that, you know, people are seeing this and they're wondering, is she in Turks and Caicos? I don't know, to be very honest with you. Again, like I said, I would love it. We'll just have to see. We'll just have to see. Pamela Harper says, you make my, I hope I made your day, boo. I hope you saying that. Nene's looking good, y'all. I'm glad she's back. We'll have to wait and see what happens next. If y'all haven't seen Kandi speak on it, head on over to her page and check it out. It's a good watch. It's a very interesting, and it's not that long. It's like 35 minutes. So definitely go check it out if you guys haven't already. And, you know, like I always say, support all the ladies, because at the end of the day, you know, we want them to succeed and we want them to do well. And we want them to continue to bringing us great TV. Okay. Listen, whether you guys agree with what I'm saying or not, I love and appreciate the fact that we can have dialogue together about these topics. Y'all know my favorite topic is Housewives, and otherwise, one of my other favorite topics is Marvel movies and comics and stuff like that. But you know, Housewives is what we do here. You know, Zenith says Kandi wanted final credit. They needed a united front for that. Message got lost previously. Work is a bit different. You know, I had a conversation with one of my best friends about this the other day. Was it yesterday? And he was saying, he was literally saying, you know, Kandi just wanted to have her own spinoff. And in my mind, I was coming from the perspective of the whole bar situation. Like, if I email my manager something that I see needs to be done, like, why I gotta email everybody else about it? But, you know, his perspective was, oh, but Kandi always trying to get, you know, she always trying to make these moves and stuff like that. So we just had a huge debate about it, But what you can say is this, you know, whether you agree on that or not, what you can agree on is this, that Kandi speak on it have definitely shined a light on the season in ways that we didn't even know that we needed, giving us behind the scenes tea, you know, play by play from people and these other perspectives on things that were missing or cut out of the episodes. So honestly, I would have to say it was Kandi speak on it, and it was us, the people who exist on YouTube and on Instagram. We honestly made this season pop a lot more than it actually popped on the screen. And that's just my thought. You know, us having these conversations, pointing things out, finding little details here and there. You know what I'm saying? Other YouTubers, other creators having these conversations. We made this thing interesting. So shout out to us for also doing a doggone thing in what obviously wasn't the best or most wasn't the best edited season ever. Okay. So anyway, with that being said, y'all, I'm about to hop on off here and get the rest of my day going, and I will catch you all in the next video.